Thabet, thanks for being with us at a particularly hectic period in your schedule. I know you're in the final countdown, in fact, to the opening of the expansion project at Hamad International Airport in Doha. And that's now just days away in the run up to the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022, which kicks off on 20 November. Thabet, it must be a hugely exciting time for you and your team, but I know a very pressured one as well, as having walked the expansion twice in recent months with you. I know exactly how high you are setting the bar. So tell us, how are things progressing?
Look, I think first and foremost, my sincere apologies not to be there with you and everybody today in Singapore. We're big fans of Trinity, having hosted the last Trinity here in Doha. So to not be a part of this one, we are a bit sad. But hopefully there'll be many more Trinities to come, and hopefully many more in Doha as well. I think, look, things are gearing up quite well. It's very, very exciting. It's very, very pressurized, but I'm sure it's well worth it. And all our teams and partners and suppliers have been working extremely hard to deliver, in my opinion, and I am a bit biased, but probably one of the most ambitious projects I've ever seen in an airport in my life.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that. Having seen work in progress, as it were, Tabit, it's quite extraordinary, and I can't wait to see the final thing. But just before we talk through some of the detail of that, I've got to ask you about the big sporting event, the biggest sporting event on the planet that's coming up within just weeks. How's the mood in the country about the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022?
See, look, I think the mood in the country is, there's been a lot of negative press, as I'm sure you're aware. But, the country and the people of the country, the Qataris and residents, they're really, responding with a positive attitude, with an ambition to deliver the best World Cup ever and a sense of pride. So it's actually, it feels really good. The streets are all decorated with flags, etc. We're starting to see people arriving. It's really exciting.
And you're a little bit excited yourself. I understand you're quite a football fan. Is that right?
Yeah, but you know me, and everybody that knows me well enough. It's club before country for me.
Yeah, and that club, of course, is Liverpool. The Reds not having such a great season so far, but I'm sure they'll come right. But let's leave the football for now, Tabet, and talk about business. Now, as you mentioned, this film is being beamed to the Trinity Forum, and we miss you too, and can't wait to see you at a forthcoming Trinity, and indeed to try and come back to Doha. The 2019 edition was absolutely unforgettable when you so graciously and spectacularly hosted us. But what can you tell delegates here in Singapore about the kind of treats, as it were, that lay in store for passengers at Hamad International Airport with this extraordinary expansion? Maybe we'll start on the pure retail side of things.
Look, I think it's for the first time ever, as I said, that I can recall, that we've got brands building retail shops that are far better than the shops that they're building in malls. You've seen it yourself, Martin. The sense of pride and the sense of excitement from our brand partners is unbelievable. And without giving too much away, I think it's not just retail we've gone after. It's experiences, and how do you tie retail back to experiences? And I think that's what we've done. And I hope that our customers will recognize that and enjoy it. And I think, as an airport, time and time again, we have millions of people go on holiday throughout these airports, throughout the world, and they always comment on the flights, they always comment on the lounges, they always comment on the experience going through the airport, but very rarely does a retail or a dining option leave a memorable experience for passengers. And I think that's been our goal, and that's what we're trying to go after.
I can't wait to see it. So we've got the shopping. Of course, that's going to be hugely impactful. I know from the previews you've shown me in the past, and of course the fantastic curation of brands that you're bringing together. What about the dining side that you just touched on, the food and beverage, as it were? Are we going to see something very different, very special there as well?
You will. You'll see some very different stuff, and I think we've kind of moved away from the traditional coffee shop concept and F&B concept, and try to bring in something very, very experiential, very, very tailored to what a customer wants today. We've got more luxury offers. Luxury today is no longer what it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, luxury was really aspirational. Today, luxury is a lifestyle. People want to enjoy luxury as part of their lifestyle, and we've tailored our offer to that. Yes, we've still got the traditional Burger Kings, KFC, Costa Coffee, but we've also taken it a little bit further. We've also brought in some of the best local concepts that are available, and we've kind of created a new experience for our passengers to try not just local cuisines, but global cuisines made from local companies.
Trinity Forum, as you know very well, Thabet, is all about collaboration between the stakeholders. Now, you've got a very different kind of Trinity in Doha, and at the airport, the airline, and the duty-free operations, in fact, are all under common ownership of the Qatar Airways Group. But collaboration, of course, with the brands is still critical to your Trinity. How would you describe the response of the brands, the famous brands of the world, the suppliers, to what you have set out to achieve here with this new project?
Yeah, I think, look, we no longer think Trinity, we now think Quartinity, because we bring in the brand, the airline, the airport, and us as a retail partner to bring it to life. And, honestly, when you see some of the concepts that we brought, delivered, world firsts, and when I say world first, you're talking with top brands globally and a world first anywhere, not just in travel retail, but anywhere. Some amazing, amazing concepts, because everybody is working towards delivering that experience. There's no question of MAG, there's no question of space, there's no question of, sales per square meter minimums, etc., etc. It's all about delivering the experience, and then everything else comes as a result of that. We're very lucky. So, I report into the CEO of the airport, Badr Al-Mir, and Badr is very, very supportive in terms of, how can we deliver a better customer experience? And for him, as the COO of the airport, is not just about the check-in process or the immigration process. It goes beyond that now to the retail, to the dining, and it's all about amplifying that and delivering something exceptional.
And something exceptional, besides what's happening, of course, with the expansion, you haven't exactly been quiet this year, or indeed last year. In fact, right through the pandemic, in the existing terminal space. And I don't think we should forget that. I mean, across both the south and the north nodes, you've been exceptionally busy during what has been unquestionably the darkest time in industry history. Tell us about that program of renewal and innovation, if you like, Thabet, because with what you're creating, which is spectacular, you're not leaving the existing facilities in the dust, as it were. You're making sure that there's a balance between the two. Is that correct?
Look, there's two things that's very, very important that's driven that. One, it's Mr. Badr Al-Mir's vision from the very, very beginning that when we open the expansion, the south node needs to be at the same level to deliver that consistency for our customers. So that has drove a lot of the growth and the redevelopment. And the other thing that's driven that is our brand partners and their trust in QDF, their trust in Hamad International Airport, and wanting to make sure that they showcase the best of the best here at all times. And that's what's driven that. And, my challenge today is I don't have enough space. I've got a waiting list of brands, luxury and non-luxury, that want to come into QDF and HIA, and we just don't have the space. So, we are quite humbled by that. I think it's quite nice to be in that situation. But they're the two drivers, really, that has drove the redevelopment.
One of the key subjects that we're talking about at Trinity this year is clearly how does the industry evolve as a stronger, more sustainable channel in the future, having been battered and bruised in this storm that's enshrouded us all over, practically 3 years. Now, like everyone in this business, Qatar Duty Free has been hit hard during the crisis, but you chose, as I mentioned a moment ago, to invest heavily nonetheless, as did indeed your airline, your parent. Has that willingness to invest and the associated spirit of innovation, has that been the key to how quickly you've rebounded? Because your numbers are very, very strong through much of this year.
No, absolutely. And I think a lot of people sat in the audience today will vouch for that. While passenger numbers are not at 2019 levels, we've already exceeded 2019 levels in terms of sales. And that's without the World Cup traffic. And there'll be a lot of people sat in the audience today that can vouch for that and not just take my word for it.
Okay. Let's just close off then. You can't be at Trinity this year. Great shame. But you've got the best excuse possible, I think, of anyone in the industry due to what's happening there in Doha. Some really eventful weeks coming up for you. What are you most looking forward to?
Look, I think there's a lot of things to look forward to. Not only is it hosting the World Cup, not only is it opening the expansion, I think this is the first time in the history that a travel retailer is the official retailer for FIFA. So we will be operating all of the stadiums, all of the fan zones, etc. So I think we have around 219 outlets across the stadiums, the fan festival, the fan zones. So it's a new challenge for me and my team, and we're really looking forward to that as well. So there's a lot to look forward to. We won't get bored, that's for sure.
Given that you're not here in person, you got any closing words for the audience that are listening to you today?
Look, I look forward to welcoming everybody to HIA to see our new expansion in the coming months. And I think, the industry will bounce back for sure. But we have also got to drive that. I mean, we cannot just wait for people to come in our doors and expect them to spend money. People want different things now. People want experiences. People want to be amazed and wowed. It's not just a case of putting products and having it as a duty-free price, because that doesn't work anymore now with omni-channel. It's around how you bring that product to life. And I would encourage all the brands, all our partners to continue to do it. I mean, the brands that we deal with are all coming to the party with amazing, innovative, sustainable products. And if we keep getting that, then I think the industry will be absolutely fine in the next 12 to 18 months.
That's a fantastic note, very positive note to close on. Well, not to quite close on, because I've got to throw in one more question to you, Thabet, and especially as you're such a football fan, maybe the biggest question of them all: who's going to win the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022?
Look, in my honest opinion, the winner of the Qatar World Cup 2022 will be Qatar, and not Qatar the football team. I think Qatar and the Arab nations will win. I think there's been a lot of negative press around Qatar, the Middle East and Arabic nations, and sport's a great way of bringing people together. And I think and I believe that the winner of this World Cup will be Qatar and the Middle East, because people will look at Arabs and the whole region very, very differently. And we look forward to welcoming everybody into Doha to come and experience true Arabian hospitality and see what our country and our culture is about.
It's a really powerful note to end on, Thabet. And having visited your amazing country on so many occasions myself, I can certainly testify to the warmth, the wonderful hospitality of the people, and of course this deep fabric of culture that you have in Qatar. And I think it's great that the world is going to discover that during this sporting event. So you're a busy, busy man, Thabet Musleh. Thanks so much for taking time out to address myself and all our colleagues and delegates at the Trinity Forum. Stay well.
Thank you. Take care for everyone.